What's up, guys? It's your boy Chad. We're back with another video. Today we're doing the ultimate tower defense tier list. Take a look at all my divines, guys. Don't ask why I have so many Rengokus. And so many Whitebeards too. Anyways, I know a lot of you guys are wondering which divine should I get, especially with all the codes. Make sure you guys do million members. That's gonna get you 500 gems. So let's go hop right into the tier list, and I'll tell you which divine you should get, especially for which modes. So I'm a leaderboard player, guys. If you don't know, I'm on the leaderboards. So I'm gonna go like, if it's in S tier, it's gonna be good for infinite mode. Everything else I'll just talk about as it goes. Yeah. So let's go start off with Dio. So Dio and Jotaro are actually meta units. They're actually like required for the leaderboards. So I'm actually gonna drop them in the S tier. They're enough to get you a few extra waves. Okay. So for infinite mode, they're definitely S tier. Next up, we have Ito. Ito's not a terrible unit per se. But she's not like that great of a unit either. I'll probably say she's like a more of a damage kind of unit, and she's not actually meta for leaderboards. So I'm gonna put her in like the C tier. I just don't really think she's that worth it to get. So I would probably pass on her. Next up, we have Blackbeard. Now a lot of people underrate Blackbeard. They think like Whitebeard's better, but whoever thinks that Whitebeard's actually better is capping so hard, yes. So hard, man. Blackbeard is actually like, I would consider Blackbeard out of all of these divines, guys, to be the best divine in the game. He's better than Whis for starting out, and he's also better than Whitebeard for leaderboards. Now, people don't understand about the leaderboards is it's not about damage. It's about the effects, right? So all the effects add up to do percentage damage. Because how infinite mode works is scales damage up infinitely. However, how Blackbeard works, how like Todoroki works, how works, they do damage not based on like actual number, but by a percentage, and that percentage is what makes it meta. So that is the key right there, guys. Now I'm going to give credit where credit's due if unit is good in like infinite, like normal mode and whatnot, so don't worry about that. But yeah, next up, guys, I'm going to go with Golden Drago. I'm going to drop Golden Drago in the B tier. He's not really used a whole lot for leaderboards, but he can be used. And wouldn't really recommend getting him because only one person in your team actually needs him. So that is what it is there, guys, for Golden Drago. Now Todoroki, he's actually a pretty good unit. I definitely recommend. He's one of the more units you should consider because he does have that slow effect, which is very, very useful. So for that reason, I'm gonna drop him up here in the. I'll drop him up here in the S tier, guys, for a unit that you should definitely consider getting. Because you want any unit with a slow effect is good. Next up, we have Naruto. I'm going to drop Naruto in the B tier. Naruto has very, very good damage, and he's actually pretty decent for like normal modes and whatnot. So I definitely recommend like not really picking him up because he's not really meta compared to other units, but he's not a bad unit to have. Okay, next up, we have Rengoku. Rengoku is also a decent unit, definitely a solid B tier. I don't really know if I recommend getting Rengoku, though. I feel like you should focus on getting the other divines first, or maybe even prestiging these other divines. But there's a lot of divines that aren't worth it to prestige. For example, Blackbeard, don't prestige him. Actually, honestly, most of these divines, there's no point in prestiging them. So, yeah, I don't really recommend prestiging your divines. It's not worth it. Because, again, at least for infinite modes. Maybe it is for classic modes. I'm going to drop Whis in the A tier. He's a decent unit for classic mode. I definitely recommend bringing him if you have him. However, I would always recommend getting Blackbeard before Whis. Next up, we have, I think this is Erwin. He's trash, guys. His damage is just way too low for what he does. I really just can't recommend him. Can't recommend him at all. Definitely a hard no pass. Now, Netero is also the same way. His damage is just way too low for his cost. He's just not really that worth it damage-wise. So I'm going to drop him to solid B tier. Light Yagami is an interesting unit. He's actually not a terrible unit. He used to be better, like more meta, but he was super glitched. So unfortunately, that didn't really work out. So I'm gonna actually drop this guy down here in the B tier as well. He has some potential, but they kind of nerfed him. And honestly, like he's decent for classic mode, but I wouldn't say he's like meta or anything. But you could definitely take a look at him. He definitely has potential. He's like a really good boss killer unit actually. So I'll drop him in the A tier. All right, next up, we have Whitebeard. Whitebeard is very, very good for battle mode. He's definitely meta for battle mode if you're into that. But he's not good for infinite mode, contrary to what people say. He's actually really bad for infinite mode. I mean, you can kind of use him, but he just causes lags and makes the game terrible. But he is meta for pretty much everything else. So I'm going to drop him in the A tier, okay? So let's go through it one more time. We have Blackbeard meta for pretty much every mode. We have Whitebeard, good for battle mode. Those are like the main units I recommend getting, because Whitebeard is also very good for classic mode. But S tier is all like infinite mode units. You don't need... All these units are meta for infinite mode, and everything below it is not. So if you want to get on the leaderboards, guys, this is what you need. If you want to get on the ELO leaderboard, though, Whitebeard is definitely a good call. So there you go, guys. There's the new Divine tier list for Ultimate Tower Defense. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Blandspot out. Peace.